Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. So today we'll start with week 2, okay? So just a summary of week 2. We'll do some basic coding as well. So I hope you have gone through the lectures and all, and you might have already started coding, right? No. Okay. Okay, we'll start from the beginning itself. So how to print something to the console. So in Python, we just write the print function and then we pass hello world, right? So when it comes to Java, everything we have to put inside a Java class. And from the main method, the execution will start. Okay. So here you see, in order to print hello world to the console, so we need at least these many lines. Okay. First of all, we need to have a class. You see, this is a class definition. So class, then the class name. Okay. And here you see the main method. So in C programming, if you have done C programming, so everything will start from main function. Similar to that, we have this main method. In Python, it starts from the first line, right? From the top of the file. But in Java, we have to, the JVM will call the main method automatically. So whatever you want to execute, you have to put inside the main method. Okay. And this braces, this defines the block. When it comes to Python, you put this indentation, right? A few spaces. So in order to say that this particular part of the code belongs to a function or something, you put indentation, right? So in Java, you have this braces. So whatever you put inside this braces is part of now this main method. Okay. So we have class. This is the class name. Now this is the starting of the class, this braces. Here we are closing it. Inside the class, we have this main method, a function. Okay. And here you have a next braces. So this part, this particular part belongs to this main function, main method. And let's try to see each part of the main method. Here you have this public keyword. So this is access modifier, which means this particular function, this particular method is accessible from outside the class. Okay, so that JVM can call this method. And here you see this static keyword. Static keyword means when you have a static member or a static function, anything, then that particular member belongs to the class itself, which means you don't have to create an object in order to invoke this particular function. Why this main function is made as static? Because JVM has to call the main method without creating an object of this class. That's why, to make it easy, to make the execution easy, this main method is static. And void means, void is a return type of a function. So return type means what this function is going to return at last, the data type. Okay, but here we are not going to return anything. The main function usually won't return anything, so we keep it as void. Void is nothing. This is the name of the function main, and here you have the argument. This is string array. String array, some name you can give. You can give any name. By convention, they use this args for short of arguments. If you want to give any input while after the compilation, while executing, you can use this command line arguments, and you can whatever you add in the command line will be stored inside this array as string. And here you see this class itself is made as public. So as this class is public, we can say this class is available within the package and outside the package. Now what is package? So what we can have is we can put many classes inside a folder, and we can call the folder as package. Okay. Usually what we do is related classes in an application or anything. If we have related classes, what we will do is we'll have multiple class files inside a folder. This folder can be called as a package, and we can have multiple packages also. Okay. And if you want the classes that you define to be available anywhere within the package or outside the package, you can make that class as public. Again, this is access modifier, same access modifier. We are making it public. Public is nothing but the term public. It is available everywhere. Okay, is the structure okay with you?
Ma'am, can you please explain that static part again? I mean, what does it, why static is here? And one more thing, like
Mm.
public static void main, or like what is the difference between the public static void main and public static int main? So we are always seeing
Mm.
public static void main. So far, whatever little code I have seen, is there
Yeah.
ever something like not void with the main associated with the main?
Yeah, we can have. So something like if you're at the end, if you are returning some int or something, in Python when you write function, you will return some value, right? Using the return keyword, return this particular value, or you may not return some. Sometimes you may not return anything. In that case, so you can relate with that. If you are returning some int value, you can make the return type of the function as int.
Excuse
If
me,
you are not
there's something
returning anything,
something wrong with your mic. There's plenty of noise coming.
oh,
We can't hear.
that might be a fan issue. How about now?
No, now it is calm.
Okay, now fine, right?
There seems to be some loose connection or something.
Okay, you tell me if something
Now it
is
is okay.
there.
Now
I
it is.
can
Now
make.
it is okay. Now it is okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fine, fine. Okay. So yeah, if you are returning something, if this function is returning some value, if it is a int value, then you have to make the return type as int. If it is not returning anything, then it is a void. Usually main function won't return anything. We'll do every coding here inside. So we keep it as void. Void means this main function is not returning anything.
Got that. Now about the static word, ma'am, and
Ah.
one more thing about like I guess the first line public class hello world. Like
Mm,
out there in the first line, public may is not mandatory. Like it could be class hello world also, but we have
mm,
to write
mm,
PSVM like public static void main. So
mm.
here is it like why we can avoid writing public in the first line and why public must be written in the second line. If you can also explain that. Plus the word
Okay,
static.
fine. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with static keyword. So in Java, as we know that everything is classes and objects, right? And suppose we have a class. To use that class, what we have to do first, we have to create an object of the class. And then using the object, only using the object, you can access the methods of that particular class, right? But when it comes to the main method, main itself is a method. It's basically a method of this particular class. And now we want a starting, a entry point, right? And just imagine not having an entry point like main function. Instead of this main function, what we had to do is, if this is not available for us, then we have to create an object of this class hello world, and then using that object you have to call the main method. So suppose we are creating an object hello world some h equal to new obj, then you have to call obj.main, correct? So that is a difficult part. So in order to make it easy, what they did is basically the first call to the main function, which is done by the JVM, Java Virtual Machine. For that, we made this main function as static, which means static functions belong to the class itself. So the JVM will call something like this: class name dot main, hello world dot main. So this is the entry point. The first line JVM will point and call. Getting it?
Yeah, making sense slowly.
Okay, so what I will do is while coding, I'll create some other class and I'll show the difference between using a static function and a normal function which is not static. Okay, later I'll do that. So, yeah,
Ma'am,
one
About
more,
the
wait, let me complete the public versus this public. Okay, so here you see JVM is a separate entity, right? It's outside. Okay, and we want we want to give permission to JVM to call this main function, right? Only then the execution will happen. Because of that, the main function must be public because we want someone from outside to access this main function. So main function has to be must be public. Okay, and this case, why class can be public and if you do not specify public keyword, we call it as package private. So what it means is, I said right, we can have multiple classes packed into a folder called package. We can have multiple package as well. So you see, package 1 and package 2. Let's take two package. Package 1 has classes A, B, C, and package 2 has classes some X, Y, Z. And if you make a class in package 1 as public, then that class can be used by a class inside package 2. Okay, and if you do not provide this public keyword, then it means by default it's a default package, it is package private, which means from package 1 this class A, if it is not public, another class from package 2 cannot access it. Getting it?
yes.
Yeah, so that is just to restrict the visibility, and we'll learn more about access modifiers in week 4, I guess. We'll learn all 4 different access specifiers.
So public,
Okay,
like the line you said, modifier public specifies visibility. I get it.
visibility.
A class
Hmm.
which may not be publicly visible can
Hmm.
contain a method that is public, like the public static void main. That is all right.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and this makes sense only for main function, which is residing in a class that is not public.
Okay.
Yeah,
So static will mean that it will only belong to this hello world class.
yeah, it belongs to hello world class. So we
But
can directly call it like hello world dot main.
and the word public static in the public in public static would mean that the main function would be is allowed to be called from outside also.
Yeah, which is JVM. We are basically asking JVM, giving
Okay.
permission to JVM to call this main function because this is the entry point, right? That's how it is being configured.
Okay, so static would definitely mean that this main function will not be will belong to hello world and not to something like hello world 2 or hello world 3. This main function will belong to only this hello world class.
Yeah, it belongs to the class itself, not the object of this class.
Okay.
So the specialty of static members is like, for example, let's take an example of a student class. Okay, and let us have a static variable roll number or register number. Okay, and this register number we can have it as a static variable. And for every student we create, every student object that we create, we will increase the static, we will increment the static variable. Okay, so which means that not every student object will get a copy of this static variable, rather it will share a single variable. So the static components, the static member belongs to the class itself, not the objects. Getting it?
No, this did not. I didn't understand this properly.
Maybe yeah. Once I go through this more part, I will show all these examples and all. Okay.
Okay.
For now, just understand that we made this method as static so that JVM can call the main function without creating an object of hello world. Okay.
Okay.
Any other doubts?
Ma'am,
Mm.
does every class have a main function?
No, we do
Okay.
not have to provide main function for every class. We have to provide main function only when we have something to execute. Suppose we have multiple classes like class student, class parent, etc. And now we can have a main class where we are going to create objects of this class, read input for the class objects, and then do some manipulation. All this main coding part we have, right? That we will put inside a main function.
Okay, then means why they have created a separate class for main? Because main is the main class, right?
Which means main function we can put inside any classes, that is fine, but it is not mandatory for every class to have a main function. We will see when we code more, you will understand this. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is our main class, and you will have some doubt regarding the file name as well, right? Okay, you see here. So this is class name. I gave it as main, capital main, and this is my main method. And here I have whatever I want to do. Okay, and I'm just printing hello world. And you see the class name, sorry, file name, it is main.java. Let me change it to a.java, and I'll run this, and I'll get this error. Class main is public, should be declared in a file named main.java. So when you have a public class in a file, so basically you put everything inside a file, right? So when you have a public class, then that file name should have the same name as the class name. That is important. Okay. And
Ma'am,
let me, yeah.
ma'am, can we do all the programs execution in this online compiler also instead of VM?
It is better to use some IDEs,
Mm.
because when it comes to some week 6, 7 and all, it is better to do in some ID, the packages and all.
Year
Till
one,
then, it is fine to use this.
okay, up to fourth, fifth week, you can use this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have a class student. Okay, now I have class student and I have class main, right? Two classes inside the same file. And so in Python, we write this init function, right? In order to initialize the variables, correct? So I will have this variable int age and also string name. I want to store name and age of students. So I am creating a class student with name and age, and this is called as constructor. We'll come to this still. So this is just like our init function. So what we want to do, the constructor will be called when an object is created, and it will initialize all the variables. Okay, and I'm going to, so as it is statically typed language, we have to specify the data type everywhere, string n and int a. I'm taking this variable arguments for the constructor, and whatever value I get when I create a student object, I will use that to initialize the variables of student class. Name equal to n that I get here, and age equal to whatever I get here for age. Okay, and now I'll add one function. We basically call function as method for a class, right? So I will have get Okay, what I want to return? I want to return name, so I am keeping the return type of the method as string, giving get name as the name of the function, name of the method, and I don't have any input for this function, rather I'm getting the value. So I'm going to return this name. Okay, this is the template I have. This is the class I have. Class student. It has two variables, name and age. One is string, other is int. This is the constructor. Constructor means this is like a special function that will be called when an object of student is created automatically. Okay, according to the parameters that we give. We will see the different type of constructors and all. For now, just think constructor it will be called when an object of class student is created, and whatever value that we give, that will be used to initialize the variables. And this is the second one. Get name is a function. Get name is a method that belongs to class student. Okay, this is a normal, a regular function, not a static function, a regular function. And get name is going to return name. This is the return type of the method. Now,
Ma'am,
yeah,
constructor name and class name should be same, right?
correct. Constructor name and class name must be same all the time.
Okay.
Let me create, yeah. Now, let me create a student object. Student S1. So this is the syntax. We have to specify the class name, then the variable name, and then we have to use this new keyword. Then you have to give class name again. And here you can give the values for this constructor. For name, I'm giving Meena, and age, I'm giving 30. Okay, a string value and an integer value. Now, when I created an object of student by using the new keyword, so here you see this is the call to the constructor itself. Now, a memory will be allocated for S1. So S1 will point to an object of student that contains this value, Meena and 34, name and age. Now if I run, will I get anything in the output? Okay, if something is wrong here. Line number 2.
Does it require a semicolon after name, string name?
1 second. Not exactly. Yeah, fine. So, okay, now I am going to call the get name method. So how will I call? S1 dot get name. Okay, S1 dot get name. So this is returning a value, right? So what I will do? I'll just print it. System dot out dot println. This is to call the print function. So this system dot out dot println. Println is that print function that we have in Python, just like that to print. Ln, this will print next line character after printing whatever that we give here. And system is a class, and out is a member of that class, which is of type some string type. And this is the function from that particular class of type out. Okay, so just remember this, how to print. We'll get into the details of this in week 8 and 9 during streams. Okay, Anyway, system is a class, out is a member, and println is the method from that particular class. And yeah, here I have gave s1.getName. I'm calling the getName function method. I'm getting Meena as the output. Okay, is that clear? Now I have class student and I have another class. So you understood the importance of main function. We can have the main function here itself in the class student. Here itself we can have the main function and do all this. But that's not how normally Java developers do. Like they will have different classes as templates in different files. Okay, and they will create this main class and will put inside everything, whatever they want to do, they will put inside the main function. So are you
Ma'am, to
doing
get
bad
the
one?
age,
Get the age, we can add one more function.
okay.
Yeah.
Can we add it in the same function?
Yeah, we can, maybe we can have return name plus age together here. We can do that as well, or you can do it separately. Anything you can do according to your wish.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we can do a system out in the that method also, right?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Instead of returning, you can just print there itself. So just see here, suppose we have an application. We are developing some application. What we will do? So main.py, right? In Python, even though we say that we don't give any function or something, basically it calls the main function directly. So in Java, we have this explicitly, main function, right? I hope you understood the importance of main function in a class. And I will show this static function. I'll add int, or let's have string school name. So instead of giving the school name for every student again and again in the objects, we can have a static variable. Okay. Okay. So this is string, right? The return type of school name is a string. So this is a static method. Now I don't have a student object. I'm trying to access this particular method using the class name itself, student dot. Okay, so I have not created an object of student, right? So this is commented out. I just called this particular function without creating an object. And how am I able to do that? Just because this get school name is a static method, we are able to call it using class name itself. So if I call, okay, you will see the difference only if I show this, right? If I call the get name method, anyway, we don't have the object. So I'll call with the student name itself, student.getName. So here you see get name. A non-static method getName cannot be referenced from a static context. We cannot call getName directly like this. But we don't have any problem for getSchoolName because getSchoolName is a static function. So this belongs to the class itself. So with the class name, we can simply call the static function. Is that clear?
Ma'am, for statics, we don't create the objects, ma'am. No necessity to create objects.
No necessary. Yeah, right.
Now,
That
can you please show the code? That's school line string. Can you show the line, please? Yeah.
Even if this variable is not static and this is also fine, okay? Sorry, this is not fine only. Non-static variable cannot be referenced. Okay, this is not fine. This should be static. Yeah.
Ma'am, in this case, if we create an object of a student, let's say, so would it get automatically attributed the static variable, the school name?
Yeah, static variable, it's like it is stored in different place. Not every object will get it as a separate entity. So it will be a single thing somewhere. Okay, single object. It's string, right? Anyway, string object somewhere, and every object will refer to the same variable, same school name.
Ma'am, can you create one object and call its school name? Is it possible?
You want me to create an object, right? And
Yes,
you
ma'am.
want to call it using the object itself. Is it so?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah. Yeah. You can access it using the object also. No issues in that.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So the importance of static is we can access it using without creating the object. Okay. Now,
Ma'am,
yeah.
but if I want to have two different school names, then I don't need to means say the static, right? I don't
Yeah,
need a
yeah. You
static
can
given.
simply make normal. Yeah.
Okay. It's not necessary that whenever I want to initialize at the time of declaration, that time I have to put static.
No, no, no.
Okay,
Not like
got
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Ma'am, through object S1 also we are getting the same, like ABC school, but
You
we do
can
not
get.
pass the parameter. No problem, ma'am. Like we don't we do not see new student of we put name and age, but we do not put school.
You are saying you have not initialized the value for school name, but still you are able to get it. Is that so?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Because we have initialized here itself, right? You can make changes. You can you can create another method and set value for school name separately. That also you can do.
Okay.
It
Okay,
is it
constructor.
is useful. It is useful if we are using, like, we are creating
Ha.
something for same school. Then we don't have to individually put the school name for each individual student. In that case,
Right. According to our requirements, we can do all these things. Just
So,
remember that
ma'am,
all these are, yeah.
here, like the ABC school is fixed, right? And we can also have another constructor student where we are taking, say, a string n int a
Mm.
and a string s for school name.
Right, right,
So there we will be able to put our choice of school.
right. You can change the school name
And,
with
and,
the.
and then while creating an object, suppose I
Mm,
have s2 and I
mm,
give only string n, I give string name and then
mm,
age and then say
mm,
XYZ school. That will then it
mm.
will be taking up this particular
Constructor.
constructor.
Right.
Okay. Okay,
So
okay, okay.
school name equal to SN. So I have another constructor. Now this is a 3 argument constructor. Now I can
So
create
by
an
that,
object.
sorry ma'am, but this ABC school would make it a default, that
Yeah,
particular.
this will be overwritten when you change it. Anyway, here you give another name, right? Now,
Ma'am, you missed out
Ma'am, yes.
static.
2 times s minus
Static in line 4.
sorry, line 4.
The word static I think is missing.
But 1 second. Yeah, I can have this as a normal function.
Ma'am, line 27. This
2 times
yes.
s minus
Something was, yeah, fine. So here we have changed the school name. We have two different constructors. This is 3 argument constructor. This is 2 argument constructor. So according to the values that we give, that particular constructor will be invoked. For the second student object, this will invoke this constructor. Okay, so here we have given new school name, right? So that's why we are getting s2 dot get school name, we are getting xyz school. Okay. Yeah. So any other doubts or shall I move? Actually, I had not planned to start this in the beginning, but I think that will clear out the difference between static and non-static functions and all. I'll quickly go through the signature of main input parameter is an array of string command line arguments. So you can give arguments here when you use command line. So how you can, okay, compilation, let's see the compilation part, then you'll see the command line part. So when we have a Java code, we write the Java code and save it in .java extension, right? .java file. So to compile, we have this command java c, Java compiler, then the file name .java. So that will convert the source code, Java source code into bytecode, something called bytecode. So bytecode itself is not machine code. Bytecode itself is not zeros and ones. They are kind of machine code, but not exactly machine code. It is a set of instruction that looks like machine code, and it is not specific to any processor. You know this, right? Write once, run anywhere. The Java code is something like that. So you can write Java code and compile it, and this bytecode will be independent of any processes. So you can give to anyone who has a JVM, they can load the bytecode and execute it. So first we write the code, we save it in .java file, and then we'll compile using javac. In command line we do that. Here though we have this run, basically it will have both commands, right, internally. Anyway, javac file name .java, and then JVM is the uh, actual virtual machine that takes this bytecode and it will execute. Okay, it has something to do, it will do all those things that it has to do. So JVM, to invoke JVM, the command is java, then the file name itself. That's it. Basically, that will be .class file. So once the JVM execute, what it will do, first it will verify the bytecode, do some optimization and everything, and it has something called JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. This will convert the bytecode into machine code at runtime. So remember, .java file will be converted into .class file. .class file is the product of Java compiler, and this .class file will be taken by the JVM, and it will load, do all the verification and everything, and it will basically interpret into machine code and execute. Is that clear?
Ma'am, so would it be correct to say that the programmer writes the source code, the
Hmm.
compiler writes the bytecode, and the JVM does this native machine code?
Right,
Okay.
that is it. So you can go through this document. It is in that particular folder. Can we write int instead of string? No, it should be string array only.
Ma'am, what is machine code?
Machine code means language of zeros and ones, binary. System can understand only this binary form.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, from where I came there? From compilation, right? So, okay, this we have discussed. System is a public class, out is a stream object defining class system, and println is a method associated with streams. Prints argument with a new line. Okay, and one more thing, this curly braces and semicolon. Semicolon is very important after every statement. These two, curly braces and colon, are used to delimit blocks and statements. This and all we have discussed, right? Okay, fine. Next, let's see the data types. Okay, so scalar types, basically this primitive data types. We have some 8 different data types, primitive data types, and all others are classes and objects in Java. But still, we have a touch of primitive data types. Those are this int, long, short, byte. These 4 are used to store whole numbers, normal numbers. And int size in bytes is 4 byte, long 8 byte, short is 2 byte. This byte is 1 byte. And float and double are used to store decimal numbers. Float 4 bytes and double 8 bytes. The size. And for character, we have char, and it takes 2 bytes. Boolean, true or false. For that, we have 1 byte. And why we have this many different data types for same type all number? All this will vary according to the size of the byte, right? So the range of numbers, the range of numbers int can take will vary from range of numbers a long can take. It's like a small box and a bigger box. Okay, here you see Java is a statically typed language. So you know that before using before giving some value, or before if you want to have a variable, then you have to specify the data type, declare the data type, then the variable name. You can give the value or not give the value, anything is fine. And this is an int, this is a long. You see long we have to suffix by capital L, right? And then we have float. For float, you have to give F at the end. Double again is for decimal numbers, you don't have to specify anything. A character, uh, single quote, boolean, you have to give small letter true or false. Okay. And this is string. String is not primitive type. Okay, I'll remove this part. I'll take string in detail later. Same thing. So here we are printing. So basically we are printing a string integer, and if you want to print this my number, after printing this part you just have to concatenate using plus operator, plus my number. So this integer colon will be added with 56. That's why we got integer 56. Similarly for all other print statements here.
Ma'am, can you explain the definition of primitive ones?
Primitive means it's given by the language itself. They are not classes and objects. These are basically given by the Java language itself.
So why string is not primitive?
String, we have a class. We have a class called string, like this, in the package java.lang. So it's not coming with the Java itself. Rather, it's in package, and we have to create object of string, and we have two different types on how to create string and all. Basically, these are classes and objects, not primitive types.
It's coming with the Java itself means we don't have to install anything for using those with Java, is it?
No, no, we have to install JDK. Yeah, anyway, Java JDK we have to install. But they are not classes and objects. They are not allocated in the heap memory like that. These are basically supported by Java syntax itself.
Okay.
So, yeah, one more thing is this bytes, right? So, difference between integer and long. I'll just go through this. So, the maximum value an int can hold. So, that's how we have different data types for whole numbers itself. So, for int, you see it is 4 byte. So, 1 byte is 8 bit, right? So, each bit means it can represent 0 or 1, right? And 4 byte means 4 into 8, which is equal to 32 bit. So there are different ways of representing the numbers and all. So basically it follows this what, two sign complement. So you don't have to remember all those things, just remember. So we have 4 bytes and 32 bits, and we have to specify the sign, either it is positive number or negative number. So one bit will represent the sign itself. Okay, so if one bit is taken for sign to represent positive or negative, then remaining we have 31 bits, right? So 31 bit we will use for the value itself. That's why the minimum value that we can represent using an int will be minus 2 raised to 31, and the maximum value will be 2 raised to 31 minus 1, because 0 will be there in between. So we will reduce 1 here. So the maximum positive value will be 2 raised to 31 minus 1. Minimum will be minus 2 raised to 31. Okay, this is the minimum and maximum for int. Similarly, for long we have seen it as 8 byte, right? Size 8 byte, which means 8 into 8, 64 bit, right? So using the 64 bit, 1 bit we reserve for sign, and the remaining 63 bit will reserve for the value. So minus 2 raised to 63 will be the uh, greatest negative number that we can represent, which is smallest basically. Yeah, so this is the minimum value for negative number, and this is the maximum value, 2 raised to 63 minus 1. So you understood the difference between int and long, right? So these two are the minimum and maximum value a long can hold. Similarly for byte and one more, what we have, byte and short. So in short it is 2 byte. 2 byte means 16 bit, right? So it is minus 2 raised to 16 minus 1 to 2 raised to 16 down minus 1. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So same applies to float and double. This is 4 byte and this is 8 byte. You just break it. Same 32 bit and this is 64 bit. That's how the range will change from float to double. Size of each data type is fixed by the JVM, does not depend on any native architecture. Okay, this we have seen, right? We have to declare the variables before we use them. Simply we can't have x, y, something like that. We have to specify the data type, very important. And you can give semicolon after each statement. So we can, yeah, basically have a state. We can have this statement and then you can followed by this statement. That's also fine because semicolon is there to separate it. What I meant is you can have something like this. Because anyway, this and this particular line ends with a semicolon. Okay. So semicolon represents the end of the statement. Now, usual assignment statement. Okay, this is normal. We can declare the variables and later we can use it. Yeah. Then one more thing is how can we declare a constant? How can we declare a constant? We have this final keyword to declare a constant. So if you prefix some variable with this particular final keyword, then this particular variable is considered as a final. Final means you cannot change it. You cannot reassign a value. Okay, is that clear? Simple only, the basics. Hope you guys are there. Okay, Manish, you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next is arithmetic operators. We'll go with this code. So we have all those operators, plus, minus, division.
Ma'am, do we get questions related to that values? How much is allowed? Long
No,
and short.
no, nothing like that. Just for understanding, you can go once, leave it.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. So yeah, here we have int a 12, int b 5. This is for addition. As you know, a plus b will give sum of a and b. A minus b will give what difference of a and b. Then we have product of a and b using star, and then we have division. Only for division we have to see a little bit. Yeah, modulus, you know, right? Modulus will give the remainder after division. And this is increment operator. Increment means it will add 1 to it. A plus increment plus plus means 12 will become 13. And this is decrement, and 12 will become 11. Okay, this is again same multiplication, division, etc. using float. So I'll just run this. Okay, and now I hope you won't be having any doubt in addition, all these things. Let's see the division part. Okay. So here we have 12 as A and 5 in B, and here we have this division result A by B, and 12 is an int, 5 is an int, and 12 by 5, what we got? Here we got 2, right? So what is 12 by 5? Actually, it is 2.4 something, right? So, but here what we got is integer part. So when we have two integers, and if you divide using this division operator, we have only a single division operator, okay? We don't have two floor division and something integer division. In Python, we have two different, right? We don't have like that. We have only one. So 12 by 5, if both values are int, it is an integer division. You will get the output as an int, truncated part. Okay. And if you want float answer, if you want the correct float division, then what you have to do is you can make one of the variable as a float variable. You typecast, you change the data type, change int a into float. Now this is float a. Now if one of the operand is a float, then it is a float division, and you are storing this into a float itself. So it's a, now you are getting the actual float decimal value result of A by B. Yeah, any doubt?
Is there any floor or ceiling
No, no,
division here? Any
no,
floor?
no, no. Here it's the actual value. It's not rounding off. Okay. And yeah, typecasting. So typecasting means converting one data type to another, right? So basically I have two different types. One is automatic type conversion and the other one is explicit type conversion. So automatic happens when you assign a smaller data type to a larger type. When you assign int to long, that is allowed. Float to double, that is allowed. You won't get error, compiler error. Okay. No data is lost during this conversion. For example, if we have int I equal to 100 and if you are assigning I to a long variable L, basically 100 will be added into L. So we'll get 100 itself. And this is explicit type conversion. We are going to manually convert it. So you have to give the data type just like here we have, right? So we have converted int to float. This is explicit type conversion. This requires manual conversion because you are assigning a larger data type to a smaller data type and like double to int, float to byte, etc. Okay. Now, so you know the increment operators, right?
Yes.
So difference between post increment, pre-increment. This is post increment. So here we have 12 and here when I printed a plus plus, we got 12. So what basically happens? 12 will be printed. After that, a will be incremented and it will become 13, right? Now if I print this, if I print a again, what will be the value? 13, because we have incremented it here. And let's see pre-increment. In pre-increment what happens? It will increment first and it will print. So we will get 13 here itself, correct? Same applies for decrement as well. A minus minus. What happened? Yeah, this is pre-decrement and this is post-decrement. Yeah, sometimes something happening to this compiler, I guess. I'm not sure.
What if we assign, like, say, now we say write x equal to a on line number 4, and then we do a a yeah, then we do a we write x equal to b equal to a minus minus or something like that, or a b a plus plus.
Something like this.
Yeah. Now then we try to print b.
Okay, anyway, now the decrement operation will happen. So here though, yeah, we got b value as a and after that it would decrement. Now if you print a will be 11. So here whatever the value of a, that will go here and store it in b. After that decrement happens. That's why Here A we got 11 and B is 12. Assignment and then the decrement.
Okay, first assignment, then decrement.
Ah, right,
It
right,
works basically from left to right.
right.
Okay.
Fine, right?
Ma'am, does it work with multiplication and division also?
So, how exactly? Like, can you say?
Maybe A star star, something like that.
No, no. So, if you have something like
Star.
this is normal
Okay,
multiplication. So,
okay.
yeah, we will get the product itself. Nothing like pre or post. Okay, so one more thing. You know a shortcut, right? I'm not taking this. Just like in Python. Plus equal to means equal to a plus 7. B star equal to 12 means b equal to b star 12. Shortcut. And we don't have double star for exponentiation. Rather, we have to use this power function from math. Okay. Just tell me what would be this power function? Is it a normal method or a static method? What do you think?
Static.
Yeah, it's a static method. So math is a class and power is a static method that is present in math class so that we are able to call it without creating an object of math class. So by default, okay, we have many different packages, but by default, this lang package will be imported. Java.lang. Okay, so lang package provides classes that are fundamental to the design of Java programming language. The most important classes are class object, which is the root. You will see this. Don't confuse this with a normal object now. Anyway, let's see some of the classes that we have, like boolean, byte, character. So we have primitive types, right? Actually, we also have classes that is equal to those primitive types, and we have math class. Very important. We will be using it. String class that is also present in lang package. Yeah, for now you remember string package, math package, everything is present in lang. Sorry, math class, string class, all these are present in lang package, which is imported by default. Now,
Ma'am, can you once repeat how we were identifying if it is a static or a normal one?
so most of the functions that we call these are called as utility methods. So we have to use it right again and again from somewhere.
Yes.
So these type of methods will always be static. So you can't remember everything. You can go to the documentation, take class math, and you'll see this. All these methods are static. We have
So, is there
absolute
some
and
characteristics which can be helpful to identify it as if it is a static or a normal one?
not exactly. But I can say most of these utility classes will have static methods only. What you
Okay.
can do is just take the documentation, check it.
Can you
Yeah.
give some example of normal ones also?
Normal ones when I see, let me see string. In string we will have. So you see the string methods. This caret is a normal method. So one thing you can say is this caret method is going to return something. Okay, this is, let me take instance method. Yeah, caret is in a caret is instance method only. Yeah, right. So these are not static methods. Many methods from string class. So we
But
basically use
we
the object.
use this also, right? Normally, we use these also,
Yeah, we
character
use both. Yeah.
and so you said that we
Mm.
use it generally, so it is a static method.
Mhm.
So what's the
You see
difference, ma'am?
something like, for example, power function. Okay, so this math dot power. So here, what input we are going to give? Something from outside, right? Something if you want,
Yes.
right? And for a string, you will basically need some methods in string for some string objects that you create, right? So in that cases, mostly it will be instance methods. It won't be static methods. You will pass some string object itself. Using the string object itself, you will call, you want to make some mutation, something.
Sorry, can you repeat, ma'am?
I'll show with the string class how we are using string class, string methods, then you will understand. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, next I'll come to string itself. So all this we have seen primitive types, right? Now we'll see string, how multiple characters are stored. We don't have arrays of characters or something like that. We basically will have this class called string. So we will create objects of string and we have methods to do many things. So if you want to store some string, so let me have string s, and now we have not learned how to read input, right? So I'll just add, keep it as name, and name equal to, I'm giving Meena, and what happens? This is a class. Okay, so for class, objects will be created, string objects. So Meena is an object, and so you have to learn string in detail. Okay, it has many things. Okay, I'll just take you through class string.
So this part was
So
not very clear. Like, how is string behaving differently being a class? Because it behaves just like any integer or anything. Like if I declare a variable integer variable and then do a system out of
mm,
that variable, the string is behaving exactly like that. So how does it behave differently in being a class, or what is
mm,
it?
mm.
And additional methods or whatever it has.
Right, yeah. So for int, we cannot call any methods, right? If you have an int variable, so it's just we can just print it. We can do some arithmetic operation, etc. We don't have anything like n dot some methods, right? So that is primitive types. We don't have any methods associated with it. Now, for string, we have a lot of methods. We can do many things using string. I'll just take you through that. Just listen it a little bit. Yeah, you will see some things here. Anyway, string class represent character string. All string literals in Java programs such as ABC are implemented as instances of this class. Instance means object. And next thing you have to remember is strings are immutable. Okay, they are constant and you cannot make any changes to a string. Their values cannot be changed after they are created. This you have to remember. Strings are immutable, but we have something called string buffers that will support mutable strings. That is not covered in the syllabus, so I'm skipping it. Now, yeah, there are certain methods that support string, and I'll what I will do is, see, you see here, these are some of the constructors. It's a class, right? String is a class, so it has constructors. You can have different type of constructors are available. We just use this string constructor. We give yeah, and then we will give the whatever value that we want to put inside this constructor. So here we have this byte array. This will take bytes and it will convert into a string. Many things are there. And these are the static methods. We are not going into that. We are more focusing on the instance method of string, because these are not very much useful for us. We don't use this much. Okay, so here you see we have char at etc. So we cannot directly access s of 0 etc, right, because it's not mutable. Rather we can use this char at and we can give the index. Anyway, this start from 0, the string index start from 0, just like Python. You can give the index and get the character that is present at that particular index. Then some other methods that we use is concat. Concat is used to add, concatenate the specified string that we give here with the end of the other string from whichever object that we call this method. Contains just work like in function, returns true if and only if this substring contains in that particular string. And we have index of, by giving the character we can get the index of. We can check empty or not, a string is empty or not. And length, this is very important, length method of string. So we can get the length of that particular string. Now think of, okay, just see the difference between instance method. Instance method means the normal regular method, okay? A static method. You can see the difference using this length function. So the length function, we cannot make it as static. Why? Because if it is static, it doesn't make sense, because we want to get the length of some particular string. So we will call this length method using some string object itself, right? And it will vary every time. So making length as static is like, it's not practical kind of. So we will make this as normal regular method. So using a particular string, you will get the length of that particular string.
Ma'am, could you please repeat this part? This not being static, I did not get properly.
See, static means it's like utility method, so it can be applicable from anywhere, right? But when it comes to this length, we want to get length of any strings, right? So it will vary every time, it will vary. So making it static, we want it is not, it doesn't make any sense to make it static, correct? Getting it?
Okay, ma'am, I guess eventually it will become clear. No, I'm not getting it, sorry.
Okay, so what is a specialty of normal methods? We call it using an object, right? So to get, so when you have length method, why exactly you want length method?
To compute the length of a string.
So you will have a string object, right?
Yes, of course.
So you can't simply call capital string dot length. So of what length you want to compute?
Suppose, ma'am, if I say that if I have the string ABC school, then can I compute like AB within quotes ABC school dot length, or do I need to put it into a very sorry object, say, and then call the method?
Right. So if you have a string ABC school, it's an object itself. Now using the object, you are calling the length method. So you are not passing like a length of string. That's not object oriented programming. So using the object, you are calling the length. So it's an instance method.
Okay, so using the object, I'm calling the length, but I'm not calling the length directly.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So it's according to the requirements we make static and non-static methods. So power method and all you see, uh, ma, phone. Uh, so sorry. Power method and all you see, you will pass some values and those are primitive values and all. They are utility methods. They are useful in that cases. Anyway, we'll continue with this. So we don't use these many methods. You can just go through it. I hope you know how to use documentation, right? This is very useful because you can use this during OPP exam. You don't have to remember anything. So learn to use documentation. Okay. And yeah, I will take a better example in the coming session for the difference between static method and instance method. Okay.
Ma'am, it's allowed to use this documentation during OPP?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, so it is better to learn how to use it. Okay. Now I'll tell you the difference between the string creation and different ways. So you see here, normally how we create an object, class name, variable name, then new keyword, then again the class name, give the uh, value. Right, you see, we have two different ways. One is this directly assigning using equal to, just giving the string. This is allowed, one syntax, one way of creating a string, and this is another way of creating a string. So here printing h. Okay, so two ways of creating string and where exactly they are going to get created, that is the next question. So when you create in this manner just like a normal assignment, what happens is a string object will be created in an area called string pool. Okay, and string pool also, what is the, why we have string pool is because strings are immutable, right? So if you are creating another Meena, same string, then what will happen is this line will check whether this particular string is present in the area called string pool, and if it is present, then one more object of Meena won't be created. It will just name2 will also point to same Meena that is present in the string pool. So in order to save memory, we have this string pool. Now, when you create using new keyword,
Ma'am,
this will go into the heap memory itself. Yeah.
save memory you told na ma'am, we are creating two strings, two variables with the same value passing. So we are using the ma'am variable. Storage
So what
variable.
happens is, no. So okay, we have the stack memory and heap memory, right? So these reference variable will be stored in the stack memory, and the objects will be stored in the heap memory. Okay. So string pool is part of heap memory itself. It's somewhere outside, a part of heap memory itself, but a special part. And now, if you see, okay, I'll show the difference. Okay, you see here, this line I am printing name equal to name 2. So what exactly happens is this is comparison using equal to operator, right? So for reference variables, hope you know like what happens 2 equal to 2. What will happen? It will compare 2 will be 2 is equal to 2, so you will get true, right? Because these two are equal. That is for primitive types. And for reference types, is a reference variable name equal to name2. Here, what exactly they'll compare is whether name and name2 are both of them referring to the same object or not. So this is called as reference comparison. So this is reference comparison, but we think that these are two different objects, so it should give us a false. But as we have this string pool, both name and name2 are referring to the same Meena in the string pool. Now, if I create one more Meena here using new keyword, and now I will check whether name and h are pointing to same object or not, will get false. Because using the new keyword, if you create a string, it will create a different object in the heap memory. It will not search the string pool. Only for this kind of assignments, direct assignments, it will check the string pool.
Ma'am, this string pool is a part of the stack.
It's part of the heap.
There is no stack involved, ma'am. I only know stack and heap, and this string pool is new to me. Where to place
The
this?
string pool is a part of heap memory. It is inside heap itself.
Okay, ma'am. The
Yeah.
next question would be for name and name two, line number 3 and 4. If
Mm,
name two is now given a different, now initially they were pointing to the same memory, right?
mm,
Now, if name two gets a different, if name other name, so now name two would name would be still Meena, but if say name two is Beena, so now name would be Meena and name two would be Beena. Is that it?
right.
Like name would also become Beena?
No, no, no. So if I have name2 equal to uh, Tina, then I'll print this. Now name2 is pointing to Tina, and I'll show name also. Okay, so here you see name2 is pointing to Tina. So it's like, just think it of like we have name here, and okay, I'll use this to show this in diagram. So name2 is changed. Name2 is Tina. Okay, here you can't see the string pool creation. Okay, but anyway, name is still Meena, name2 is Tina. So basically, one reference to Meena is being taken. Now it is not there. Name2 is pointing to a new object Tina inside the string pool itself.
Okay, just the memory reference location now is directed elsewhere. Earlier they were pointing to the same memory location. Now name two is
Huh.
pointing somewhere else.
Right.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that's it. Main thing. Okay, let's see how to. This is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, Now we can do some operation like name plus name2, concatenation, and think we'll have here itself some of the methods that we normally use in our course. Just go through this. Have you started solving GRPs?
No, ma'am.
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So here we have string str, and here is how to find the length of the string. We have length method, right? So you call the length method using the string object. String dot length. This will return the length, which is an int. So we are storing it in int variable. And this is to convert to uppercase. So we have this method to uppercase. Call it using the string object. You get the uppercase. Then to lowercase. Then we have substring. You know, right? Substring. Part of the string. Substring 7. Substring from index 7. We'll get from index 7. This is the starting index. So it will go till the end, right? We are not specifying the end. And this is index 0 to 5. So basically starting index is 0, end index is 5. Just like S of 0 to 5, like that. 5 is exclusive, so we'll get only till 4. And here to replace string. So whenever you do something like replace and all, it is going to create a new string because string itself is immutable, right? So str.replace world with Java. So hello world, in that it will become hello Java. That will be new string. So replace str will point to a new object of hello Java. And here we have contains world. So checking whether world is present inside str. Calling str.contains passing world. Then we have starts with and ends with. You know, right? Starts with hello. Whether the string is starting with hello or not, whether the string is ending with exclamation mark or not. Then trim. This will remove the trailing and the leading spaces. Split, as you know, to split the string by whatever delimiter that we pass. If I pass comma, it will split it based on comma. Index of world. So it will give wherever this W starts. Then concat, you know, right? To add, just like plus operator, but this will work only with string. Plus will work with int as well. Like if you add hello plus some 1, it will give hello 1. Right? Normal int also we can add, but with concat you can give only string.
Ma'am, in case of split string, we are uh, declaring it with a square bracket, right? The left hand side.
Yeah. Return type is a string array, right? So it is splitting it based on comma, and each substring will be stored inside this string array. So we had hello world, right? Hello comma world. So now we have string array, and each element will be, one will be hello and the other will be world and exclamation mark. So here we are using a for loop to loop through that particular string array and print each one. So we are getting hello and world. We'll see how this for loop is working. This is just like in Python we have something like this, right? For I in list. So each I represent one element of the list. Same to same. For string part in split str. Split str is the array, just like list. Now part is the variable name. As it is statically typed language, we have to specify the data type of each element of the array. For string part in split str, print each part after trimming.
Got it, ma'am.
Clear?
Got it.
Okay. Now, yeah, only thing you have to remember is every time you call this functions and all, replace, substring, etc., it is going to create a new string. It's not making changes in the original string. It is going to make a new string, and the reference variable is going to point to that new string. If we change a string, we get a new object. After the update, s points to a new string. Java does automatic garbage collection. That you know, right? So we have this string is equal to hello, and later if we are doing something and now s is pointing to some other string, now hello object is remaining like an orphan. Nobody is pointing to hello. If some rules will be there, so according to that, if nobody is pointing to this hello will get removed later. Automatic garbage collection will happen just to save memory,
So
clear the
now
memory.
this hello would be in the heap, right?
Repeat.
The hello would be in the heap.
Yeah, hello would be in the heap.
It would be
Yeah,
happening in the heap only.
yeah. All the objects are in the heap only, but when you create in this manner, this hello is going to be in the string pool, which is inside the heap itself.
No, but you just showed no without using the new
Yeah.
keyword that went to the heap and this went to the string pool, and
Hmm. Yeah. I'll just show where this. You see this image. So this is heap. String pool is inside the heap itself. Getting it? String pool
got it.
is part of the heap.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So
Ma'am, when it will get lost, like after which even if I call that string, it will be not available anymore.
uh,
That
no, it's
hello.
not like that. If suppose now we have s equal to hello, right? And later, if s is pointing to some other variable and hello is not having any reference pointing to it, then automatic garbage collection will come and collect hello, remove it.
Okay.
Yeah. If
So if
someone is pointing to it, it is still there.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it is part of the machine code itself, right? It is running on the local machine. So in that case, it's putting the memory,
It's in the
like
memory.
automatically.
It's in the memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after string, next is array. This is easy. So array is to store some similar data types and all, like a collection, and to declare an array just like a list. Okay. So you have to specify the data type of what you want to store. If you want to store int values, then you have to specify the data type int and call it, sorry, this square bracket. You have to specify the square bracket, then the variable name. And you can create int array using new keyword, new int, and you can specify the size of the array. Now each of the element that you can store inside this array will be an int itself. And this is also allowed int and then a, then the square bracket instead of int square bracket a. Here we have done in different lines, right? We can combine it into same line as well. Int a equal to new int of size. And for array, we have something called length attribute. Okay, a dot length means you can get the length of the array. It's not a method; it's an attribute itself. So whenever you create an array, this length variable will be initialized with the size of the array. So if you call a dot length, then you will get the size of a. Array indices start from 0 and it ends at a dot length minus 1, just like in Python, 0 to n minus 1.
So ma'am, before putting any value inside the array, we have to first declare its size. That's mandatory.
Yeah, size of the array is mandatory. Yeah. Okay, now we'll see one code related to array. Here itself we'll see the normal for loop. Is it too much or shall I continue? Yeah,
It's kind of becoming a bit heavy right now for me. I'm sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I know. It happens.
But ma'am, there is one thing regarding accepting inputs. If you can kindly show that, like if a user input and then getting to inputs, adding them, multiplying them, or like printing them, how to do that?
Haha, that is the last topic. Uh, you have to create scanner class object and use it. Or what we can do is we can stop it right here. We'll continue in the next session. I know that it's bit heavy, like when we go completely. Okay, just learn this much. We'll see in the next session.
Okay, ma'am, but will you show the input today, please?
Haha, okay, if you want, I'll show that. So you have to create scanner class object. Scanner is a class. Scanner class, again, that is an util package. So we know that only lang package is imported by default, right? So in order to use this scanner class, you have to import java.util package. So this will import all the classes. Now, we don't go through this, maybe this is too much. So anyway, so create an object of scanner class, this is object variable name, new scanner, and here you have to pass something like system.in, which is basically just like system.out to print something to the console. Here you have to use this string, in string. Okay, and then I'll just take ln enter name, and next I'll just have a variable string name, and name is going to store my value from the user. Once I get that, I'm going to print that name. So this is the object of scanner class, and here you see sc.next. Next is going to read string values. Okay, and we have many methods according to the data types. I can also have int age. So that is an int. So what you have to give is you have to call nextInt method. So what you can do is go here, so according to what data type that you want to read, you can use all these methods. Next int, if you want to read long, then you can call next long. If you want to call float, next double, next boolean, everything. So next will take uh, the string value, whatever that is present in that particular string.
If you input a different data type, then it gives error or something.
Yeah, it will give error. So if you are storing different things, then yeah, you'll get error.
What about if we store an address? If we are trying to store an address, it will have like numerics and alphabets also. How to tackle that? And one more thing, ma'am, like in Python, we have input that basically comes as by default comes as string, and we have to then typecast it to int or float. So, is there something going on here as well?
So
For this?
here too, what you can do is if you are reading age as string, now we have that in string format, right? If you read it using next, that will be a string. Later you can convert into integer. Like we have something called parse int method from integer class. You can convert it. So you can go with the
Okay, so we take an address as string.
yeah. So address you are saying it has many parts and all, right? You can simply take it as a string. That is okay. So if you see, one more thing you can see here, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, what I did. We don't have a class address. Okay. Now I'm giving, now you see here what happened. We are taking the input using next function, right? But here we have given this many words. We can say this as tokens, right? And you see, using the next method, we are able to read only the first token, right? After the space, it is not reading anything. So if you want to read a full line, what you have to do is you have to use this next line function. So this will take the whole line, next line. So that is the difference between next method and next line. If you want to read whole line, you have to use next line, and this will break only after the next line character, but next will read only the first token. Getting it? So we have different methods according to how we want to read the input, we can use them.
And this new scanner system.in is a must.
Yeah, this is a must. We have to create the scanner class object, and then using the object, you can call the methods that is available from scanner class.
And ma'am, what are they say 10 most important methods that you use? If you can just tell us, that will be required.
Next line, next int, next float, etc.
Next line, next float.
Next int for reading integer, for reading float numbers, for reading strings as a line and as a single token.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm stopping here, okay? Just practice all this. We have next session on Thursday, right? TA session.
Ma'am, the current page which you are showing, where it is there, ma'am, available?
That
This
is inside this folder.
supplement. Uh-huh.
This
Okay.
is not in supplementary, right? Maybe I will add it
Share
there as well. Or
or can you share the drive link?
yeah, I am sharing it here. I'll share it in the calendar as well. Okay. Okay then. If you have any doubt, you can post in the discourse, okay? We'll continue it in the next session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.